Wow, that was unexpected. I leave home for a few days and look what happens. Well, after many months, I'm back, talking about Halo again, as per usual with this channel. But this time, we're actually talking about something that is a little noteworthy. Something a lot of us weren't even expecting. 343, as just a few hours ago, has just confirmed that they are rebranding themselves and moving the Halo franchise into the Unreal Engine, completely ditching the Slipspace engine in favour of something new, for the sake of more easier development and more convenience. This news completely came out of nowhere, although there were rumours a few months back that Halo would be moving to the Unreal Engine. 343, or Halo Studios, has decided to take up a research project under the name Foundry. This project is all about laying the foundations for Halo in the Unreal Engine. Not a new game announcement, it's just more of the studio testing the waters to see how well Halo can translate to the Unreal Engine. And as such, I have thoughts on this. So let's talk about the rebrand. Halo Studios, ditching that awful 3-digit number. It's fine. It's a little bit generic, I won't lie. I would have gone for something like 117 Studios or Mjolnir Studios, something that sounds inviting, encouraging, empowering, because if they named themselves either 117 or Mjolnir, who's the first thing that comes to mind? And when people think of that character, people get pumped, and that's exactly what you want, people to get excited. Excitement breeds interest, especially outside of the Halo fanbase, and that is exactly what the franchise needs. It needs more people to be excited. Halo Studios doesn't get me excited, it just sounds rather generic, and the logo design is something I'm not particularly a fan of. As exciting as a rebrand is, since it does show a tiny bit of commitment to making Halo the best it can be, I'm not particularly sold on it, for one very specific reason. For as cool as a rebrand is, what really matters is the people at the helm. And since this is pretty much 343 as we've known it for a while, despite the firing of a lot of management, I'm not convinced. Let me ask you this, if Bungie, the current Bungie, were to rename themselves into a completely different company, is that really going to fix all their issues? If Bethesda was to rebrand themselves, is that really going to change a lot of the stupidity that goes on in that studio? To quote a particular Russian,
"The flag may be different, but the methods are the same."
That statement still reigns true. I can understand the idea of rebranding a name that has a lot of negative stigma behind it, but that doesn't change the fact that if the people running the studio aren't up to the task in making a quality product, then what was the entire point of the rebrand to begin with? So let's talk about the elephant in the room. Halo going to Unreal Engine. To tell the truth, I'm rather mixed on this. Now, the Unreal Engine has proven itself to be a rather scalable and remarkable engine, so how will Halo operate under a new engine, considering that its previous engine, Blam or Slipspace, was designed very specifically in mind for Halo in not just its visuals, but how it plays, its mechanical depth. Can Unreal Engine provide that? It's really hard to say. Without any footage of a new game, we really can't make any judgment calls. Whilst Unreal Engine has a lot of benefits, I will not deny that, the Blam engine was a very specific engine meant for a very specific game. And when you get rid of that, what happens? Now, I'm not blind to the fact that the Blam engine was very difficult to work in, thanks to ex-developers confirming the fact. And whilst Unreal Engine is a lot more industry standard, you can hire a lot more people understand the engine a lot more, how much of that is going to affect how Halo feels in terms of gameplay? That's the most important thing here that I don't think a lot of people are realizing. I'm not a developer. I've never made a game in my life, but I've played Halo for all my life. I know exactly how it's meant to be played, how it's meant to feel, and if Unreal Engine cannot provide or replicate that feel, then there's going to be issues. Not nitpicks, genuine issues because Halo plays in a very specific way. Something, again, I don't know if the Unreal Engine can do properly. Now, to show off Halo in Unreal Engine, they made a showcase, a rather impressive showcase on a visual level. The Combat Evolved art style seems to have translated rather well into the engine. It looks good, I'm not gonna deny that, but so did the Slipspace engine when it was announced in 2018. Alongside this Unreal Engine announcement, Halo Studios announced that there would be multiple Halo projects in the works. And to this, that's at least a good thing. This is something that the fanbase has wanted for a very, very long time. Multiple Halo projects, big and small. Think of the possibilities with that. But there is more to a game than just its engine. It's the people behind it. That is something I really want people to take away from this video. And I'm not just blindly hating on 343. Microsoft is also to blame too, because of their stupid contract policy, which really hinders development. If that continues, we're just going to be in the same place we have been for the past couple of years with just a new coat of paint. People's perceptions can only change if the products that you're releasing are of quality. So let's talk about the elephant in the room. For a while now, there have been rumours that Combat Evolved is going to be receiving a remake within the Unreal Engine. On paper, this could sound rather cool, but again, can 343 really deliver on a faithful remake without screwing things up? To be completely honest with you, I don't trust them with remaking Combat Evolved. If a remake is indeed happening, I'm not for it, and there are two major reasons as to why I'm not for it. Firstly, the rebranding's entire existence. This whole rebrand is about moving Halo to the future. Project Foundry is a project that is meant to lay the foundations for the future of this franchise. A remake of Combat Evolved would not only contradict the motto, but it's also just not necessary. It's not pushing the franchise forward, it's not evolving it, it is simply regressing it with just a new coat of paint, an Unreal Engine coat of paint. I don't see people clamouring for a remake of Combat Evolved for one very specific fact. Combat Evolved, despite being 23 years old, is still a mechanically fine game. It does not need a remake. Remaking Combat Evolved would be the same as if you were to remake the original Doom. There are just some things that just don't need a remake. So what would remaking Combat Evolved even do? It would do nothing. It's not pushing the franchise forward, which is something Halo needs. Now when I say Halo needs evolving, I don't mean on a major gameplay level, just tiny little improvements here and there. The core of Halo's gameplay is its sandbox, the weapon sandbox. What you need to do is evolve that aspect, not evolve the gameplay to the point of it losing its identity, which Halo 5 suffered from. That's not what needs to be done. This is why you need spin-offs, because with spin-offs you can be a bit more experimental with ideas. You will at least have free reign to go whichever direction you want, especially if a spin-off can birth its own little trilogy of games. A remake of Combat Evolved isn't going to change my perception, simply because 343 are just copying someone's already fantastic work and putting it in a new coat of paint. And I don't trust them to write new things to be incorporated in the remake, because their current stories that they've been telling, both in the games and outside the game, have been nothing but pure cringe. They are terrible. And the last thing I want is for Combat Evolved's already perfect story to be tainted by dumb inclusions that 343 always does when it comes to Halo's narrative potential. We need a new game, spin-off, or a continuation of Infinite. We do not need a remake. I'm not asking for it, neither is the wider Halo community. The only people that are asking for a Combat Evolved remake are people who don't understand how Combat Evolved plays or are just wanting a remake for the sake of having a remake. The biggest question I want people to take from this video is, will this rebrand save the franchise? And in my opinion, no, I don't think it will. If 343 are not willing to change their ways and how they develop games, to not change their vision for Halo for the betterment of the franchise, then we're just going to be stuck in the same position we've been stuck in for the past 12 years since 2012. I can't change people's perception. I can only tell people what I feel, and I doubt 343 is going to change it based on one person's opinion. It is something that everyone needs to take into consideration.